Let's do it.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another Mall Goth episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 396, recorded on Monday, November 7th, 2022. Tonight, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by your boy Nate S. Before we get into the movie, which is Chopping Mall, didn't say that. Before we get into the movie, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randu. What's up, man?
You didn't say the magic word.
What's
Chopping
up,
Mall.
buddy?
Chopping Mall is
Yeah.
a magic word.
Chopping Mall was a magic word, and you fucked that up. I can tell this is going to be an even bigger shit show than last week. Juice is jet lagged. My ass is dog tired from work, and you can't get the name of the movie in the opener. So I guess we're just all kind of butt fucked here.
I'm cat tired, not dog tired. I'm ready for you to go on another, hot topic rant. I mean, here we are talking about malls and shit. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
We didn't finish the
Before
conversation last week.
My hot topic, hot takes.
Oh boy.
I got a few.
Last but not least, we got our boy Stoju calling in stateside. What's up, man?
What up? It's your boy Robo Stains. Does not compute.
Okay. No compote or compute. Tight. Thanks for picking this week's flick, Nate. We do appreciate your love and support. Before we get into the main event, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. We do have our December poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for December is Christmas Redemption, and the three movies to vote between are Gremlins, Santa's Sleigh, and Black Christmas.
Whoa,
shit.
Bob, how much is Santa slaying on this month's poll?
Not a lot. There has been a couple votes for it, which is better than
Whoa.
zero.
Okay.
Yes, that's factually true.
I'm good at numbers here, okay?
Man, you're a real numbers guy.
Gremlins has a few more numbers, but not all the numbers. And then Black Christmas has the most numbers.
Okay.
man.
Polls. That's how you run them.
Dude.
I understand them well, clearly.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's
yeah.
a political season, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta be
it's
good
great.
on your polls. God, I have
Get
nothing.
your
Firing on all
They gotta be
cylinders
good
tonight.
on your polls.
We
Let's
can't
talk
Polls
about
are
even,
polls,
goddamn
am I right,
shopping
boys?
mall.
can't even make an election joke. What are we doing
God
over
damn it.
here?
I can't make those
Polls,
synapses fire
polls.
fast enough. I can't do it.
Get your votes in before the end of November, and we'll see what Christmas movie we're going to be slicing up in December. We got a brand new mini cast dropping this Friday. Actually, if you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to a whole back catalog of mini cast. They're exclusive to Patreon. We have over 80 on there now. We add to it every month. This Friday, I recorded a mini cast talking about VHS 99, which just hit
Alright.
Shudder. It's a Shudder original, and it's the 5th installment in the VHS franchise. If you want to hear all my thoughts on that, that'll be dropping this Friday. Speaking of Patreon, we do have a brand new Patreon supporter we got to give shouts outs
Oh.
to. Big thanks to our boy Darren M for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. It truly does help us keep this thing on the rails as best we can, anyways. As is tradition around these parts, we owe Darren the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you.
Slap my ass.
Slap my ass,
Thanks, Darren.
Darren. Thank you.
What?
Yep. Thanks.
Keeping the beat. Keeping the beat.
Keeping the beat.
All cylinders.
Keeping the beat. Something we need to announce, actually. We got episode 400 coming up in just a few weeks,
400.
actually, which is absolutely insane. We've been doing this show for that long. But we do want to start soliciting for listener questions. If you guys have questions about the show or really just about anything at all you want to know about, feel free to send those questions into us at straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to compile all those questions and we'll be answering some of them on episode 400. So yeah, get those in before, I guess we're recording like the first week of December. So just, I guess you got till the end of
November.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, get those rolling on in. And here's another reminder. We got a couple like live events coming up. First one happening Saturday, November 19th at Sunray Cinema in Jacksonville, Florida. We are hosting a screening of a movie called Blood Rage at 9:30.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of her. Well, if you have never heard of her, Blood Rage is a fantastic Thanksgiving themed slasher film from 1986. And it's one for the books. It's definitely one worth watching. And Randu, our boy Randu, designed a dope ass poster we're going to be selling at the event as well.
He did. Also, we'll probably bring the other posters we have available as well, which are also very dope.
Yes. Yeah, we
You
got
want some
leftovers.
exclusive straight chilling and merch? Show your ass up and buy one.
It's for the live boys only.
Show your
It's hard
ass
enough
up.
to come show up.
Show your ass.
Hitch a
up.
flight, hitch a ride down to Jack's, get your ass in a seat for Blood Rage. You'll
Ride a
never
hitch.
You'll never get a better chance
Fly to
to
car.
see whether or not it's cranberry sauce.
Slam
Also,
that bell.
too, Soju's first live event in Saxonville. Whoa.
Yeah.
If you want to
Get
meet the
stained.
man, the myth, the legend, the great
Stained.
Soju, then
He's just going to use it to promote his OnlyFans. I can already see that coming
The
on.
great stain.
you
Get
want to hear me.
stained.
if
Come
you
in
wanna-
person and watch Justin humiliate you in public. It's what people pay for. And he's there to provide.
Lick my feet, you piece of shit.
It's gonna be real weird. Real weird.
Yeah, this is how you make an appealing.
Eat these mashed potatoes, you piece of shit.
No salt, pepper, or butter. Just dry, cold, instant mashed potatoes in your
No
mouth.
gravy
No shit.
for you, you piece of shit.
We love our
Somebody I knew
fans.
from Canada once told me that is how they serve mashed potatoes in Canada, and I just don't believe them. It
With
just,
I don't
what?
believe that
With
for a
maple
second.
Just-
syrup?
no, just the potatoes mashed,
Oh.
literally nothing else.
I don't
No
believe
maple
that
I do
at
not.
all.
I can't believe anybody would be that self-hating.
The country that invented poutine? Come on.
I know.
Get outta
Yes, I don't know about invented, but certainly popularized.
Definitely invented the French fry. We all know that.
What?
The
We've
French
got-
Canadian fry.
French Canadian fries. Those are Freedom Canadian fries. We've got another event happening on Friday, December 2nd. We're having another straight chilling meetup at Rain Dogs, which is a bar here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're running out the back room, and we're going to be getting weird and getting kind of Christmassy too. So yeah, coming out with us, we'll have some Christmas movies rolling on. We'll have some giveaways for sure. Yeah, and I don't know, wear your best Krampus outfit or freaky deaky little sweater or whatever, you know.
Freaky deaky
Freaky
little sweater,
deaky.
man.
Oh my God, boys.
That's the name of
we've-
our next album.
We've
Freaky
hosted
deaky.
parties for every holiday season these past 3 months. We had our Chilloween.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the Blood Rage for Thanksgiving. I might get some mashed potatoes, and and then we're gonna have a little Christmas bash. Damn, with our freaky deaky sweaters, apparently.
Get freaky and deaky.
I want all your sweaters to have the nipples cut out, please and thank you.
Done and done.
My whole body's warm except my nips.
Ooh, brisk out tonight.
I think that's all I got. You guys have anything else?
I don't think so.
Nah.
All right. This house is clean.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get to the main event. We're talking about Chopping Mall, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Boys,
Bob,
We are
do
all-
you have this box?
you know I have this box. It's right here. You've seen it already. Why you ask these questions?
Bob, for the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's an
Oh,
audio
yeah.
format.
We're all having a ball at the Chopping Mall, boys. Let me tell you what. Chopping Mall from 1986 with a runtime of 1 hour and 17 minutes. Gotta love that. This was written and directed by Jim Wynorski. Stars Kelly Maroney, Tony O'Dell, Russell Todd, your boy Barbara Crampton, a few other
Your
folks.
boy?
My boy.
She might take exception. I don't know.
Barbara Crampton.
Your boy, Brabra.
It's your
You
boy,
know.
Barbara.
Gender is a construct. Let's get with
Sure
it, guys.
is. Sure
okay?
is, buddy. Yeah, yeah. Misgender away.
Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. The future has arrived at the Park Plaza Mall, where state-of-the-art security robots are installed as the new automated night watchmen. When an errant bolt of lightning short circuits the main computer control, these protector robots turn into killbots on the loose, hunting human lives.
Oh,
What the fuck?
everything just happened at once.
Anyway, that's pretty much that's
Yeah, we
pretty
got
much
it.
it.
We're not redoing that.
Gentlemen, have you seen Chopping Mall before, and would you recommend people check it out? Judas, why don't you kick us off?
Not particularly, no.
You haven't seen it before, particularly?
No, I had never seen this movie before. I would not particularly recommend.
Got you. Randu, what about you?
So I've seen this movie. It has to be a minimum of 3 times. I think maybe more like 4 or 5. I would say that like I've wanted to like this movie more than I have in the past. Actually enjoyed it. Because it just seems like a perfect confluence of things that seem like fun to me. And I've often found myself quite bored with it. So keep that in mind. But I will say this. I broke a different kind of seal with this movie this week and watched it for the first time stoned. And I would argue by far the superior way to experience this film.
What?
So I would recommend any of the pot smokers in the building to maybe give that a try. But otherwise, I'm pretty lukewarm on the recommend here.
Yeah. Bob, how
All right.
about you? Had you seen this before? Would you recommend?
Yes, I've seen this, I don't know, probably 3-4 times. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I think it's a fun-ass movie that I definitely do recommend.
Saw
I
that
watched it.
coming.
I watched it sober and
Yeah.
still enjoyed it.
This is definitely a Bob
horrible.
episode. This is
Saw that coming.
this is some
Bob's just a big
cheesy-ass
Dick Miller fan, so he can't
80s
say no.
bullshit. So
I-
definitely a Bob episode.
Ah.
Just fucking-
Such
it's
a fucking
complete garbage.
asshole.
So you know it's a Rob episode.
Bob fucking only likes donkey bullshit.
Donkey bullshit.
Bullshit. I'll be here all week, boys. Yeah, I recommend it. Sounds like maybe a medium recommend, I guess, across
At
the
best.
board. So yeah.
I think that's meeting it more than halfway, but sure.
Yeah,
There
Bob
you
always
go.
leans heavy on his bias.
Well, you gotta know. You got like a sure if you're stoned, I guess, and then a yes. I don't know. Fucking make it that what you will.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
We're awesome. We're gonna spoil the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, do you have this plot synopsis?
I got it. I
Okay.
got it right here.
Better be
Right.
brief.
It is. I mean, come on. All right. The Park Plaza Mall has updated their security system, including gates in front of all the exits and 3 security robots complete with tasers and tranquilizers. Allison and Susie, who work at a pizzeria in the mall, their boyfriends Greg and Ferdy, and their friends Rick, Linda, Mike, and Leslie all have an after-hours party in the furniture store Mike, Greg, and Ferdy work at. The storm rolls through and lightning strikes the mall, short-circuiting the security robots, causing them to kill the technicians controlling them, as well as the janitor. Mike goes to get cigarettes, and a robot slashes his throat. Leslie goes looking for Mike and gets her head lasered, causing it to explode. The others witness this and barricade themselves in a stock room, allowing the girls to escape through the air ducts. They find an automobile shop and grab some weapons. The guys find a sporting goods store and also get a shitload of guns. Using a propane tank, they are able to destroy one of the robots, or so they think. Susie gets a gasoline can shot, and she ends up burning to death. The kids rig an elevator trap and destroy another robot. Greg blames Allison and Linda for leaving the air ducts, which then led to Susie's death. They end up calming him down. They hunt for the robot's control room. The robot throws Greg over the 3rd-story railing to his death. The kids set up some mannequins to confuse the robots, and it works. One of the robots blinds itself with its own laser. Linda is killed, and an enraged Rick drives a golf cart into a robot, getting electrocuted. With only one robot left, Allison lures it to a paint shop where it loses traction on paint and thinners that she spilled on the floor. She throws a flare and ignites the robot. As the sun rises on the mall, Allison and Ferdy are the only remaining survivors. We hear a robot say, "Have a nice day." Roll them credits.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
There you go. We got
All
it.
right. So-
This is probably, from my memory, the most dated movie I think
Yes.
I've ever seen in my life.
So
There's
it's like an aggressively 80s movie in every way.
yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing. I find it quite charming on its surface, on like an aesthetic level.
It's
I'm
an
like, okay,
interesting
great.
little time capsule for sure.
Right. Yeah. And like I don't begrudge it for that. Don't get me wrong, but it is absolutely like this is like the 80s movie as far as I'm concerned. At least the one that like it's like this and like Sleepaway Camp. You know what I mean? Like movies that just exist of their time specifically and don't really break out of them.
Yeah. I would say this,
uh,
I mean, even Sleepaway Camp, like kids still go to a summer camp, you know?
True. Well, people go to malls, but everything's so styled.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. Only for the Hot Topic, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, Hot Topic's keeping
I
that
didn't
place in business.
I didn't see the Hot Topic in this film.
Bullshit.
It's right next to the Dwayne Reed.
It was interesting seeing all the stores that were around in there.
Yeah.
There was a record shop that they go into, and it's called Licorice Pizza.
Oh,
I don't know if that was like a real store or not.
Okay.
Back in the
Maybe.
day, that maybe I just didn't know about. But yeah, I was like, holy shit, I never noticed that before. But with the movie coming out with the same name, I was like, man, I wonder if that was like a real fucking store that I just didn't know about.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that like so much of this, because they filmed this in the real, like, what is it, the Sherman Oaks Mall or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They like everything in it, like from the stores to like the products on the, like it's all real shit. Like there's not a whole lot of set dressing, except for the furniture store, I think is the only like made up store. But like that adds like an interesting level of like adds to that time capsule feeling, I think, because like I like True Stories, the David Byrne movie, kind of has the same thing. There's a big scene in the mall, and you see all these like stores that are like specifically like real stores that happen there. But it just seems like such a nightmare to get all the rights to that stuff. I wonder if there was any bothering with that, or if just nobody bothered to like like file suit against them or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's like McDonald's arches and shit. Like there's things from very litigious parties in there.
Yeah, they're just running to the mall.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. There's another shop that's called Roger's Little Shop of Pets. It was the pet store towards the end of the movie. This was produced by Roger Corman, and that's, Little Shop of Horrors nod, which he directed in like 3 days or whatever it was. So they do some interesting things with that. Yeah.
I was looking up the mall because I know that it was used as a filming location for a lot of things. I saw the special feature or something about that. Apparently, Licorice Pizza, part of that, was filmed there. So I imagine there is a connection. So that is interesting. Also, like some of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, Terminator 2 Judgment Day was there, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like there's a lot of The Gift 2015. The Gift was partially there. Inner Space. There's a lot of fucking like notable movies that were filmed there. So
wow.
Yeah.
I'm breaking out the trivia early just because I thought that was interesting.
There is a shitload of trivia on here actually. So thank you for taking one piece off of my plate, Brandy.
Happy to do it. I'll always do it, especially on Thanksgiving.
There's a shitload of like old Roger Corman movie posters all throughout the mall too for some reason. I mean, because they don't have to pay rights to show that kind of shit. But it's like, why would those be on like the pizzeria wall? You know, it doesn't really like make me think of Italy in any way. But
dude, that pizzeria. Oh my god, his shirt.
He's so filthy.
Was so disgusting.
I've never. The same set dresser from Halloween Ends, I understand. No, that dude, and he asked for more butter. I'm a little confused because is that a pizza place or what? Because it seems like they're serving peas and fucking carrots and shit. Like
garlic logs is what they call something. I want a garlic log.
What were they doing
in my
back
bathroom a few minutes?
Where was the orange Julius?
There's also that kid that was just fucking covered head to toe in chocolate ice cream standing in the elevator. Like,
dude, yeah.
That's a young Justin just fucking staining the shit out of himself.
They did some like weird shots like that because that was like it did like this fast motion. The entire intro of this, I wrote this down somewhere. I was started to take notes on this movie, but then I was stoned, so I didn't continue. But the opening of the scene of this movie is like a 5-minute scene of just like like that sort of music and just like weird like it's like a extended 3-minute 80s commercial. It's just commercial shit happening, no characters really, just like little bits of people, and I love that. Actually, it might be one of my favorite parts of the movie because it just that's the time capsule moment. It really feels like it's just like pulled straight out of like a VHS recording of late night CBS or some shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like random little jokes in the opening that I dig. There's like that older couple sitting on the bench and they see these young kids making out and you expect them to like recoil and like clutch their pearls, but then they just start laying into each other. Like,
do they lay into each other? It seemed like a very sweet peck to me. I was like, oh,
laying in.
Just laying into each other. There's also the bikini clad women that have like the mall banners. They're like a walking like display. It was just kind of bizarre. But
and then the goofball that's like drops all his shit and is like, ugh. And he's like, because he's staring at the big booties and all. It's
and the walk through the food court, or the seating at the food court,
and like everybody navigating and about to drop shit. Like it's like it gave me a little bit of like Black Friday panic feeling, even though that's not really what was being depicted. Give me those flashbacks, I guess.
What a time that's passed.
We're spending a long time talking about
the intro
part of the movie.
There's also like you hear somebody over the intercom say like, "Oh, we have a child lost in lingerie." Like, what? That kid is living it up. Is what he's doing.
Learning some shit.
Oh my god. Also like the general design of the robot, like the movie really opens up with like this. There's this guy who's like explaining the robots and how they're gonna be this awesome like security at the mall and stuff. And they got like a little video where they show them like tasing the shit out of this robber. And he's like, the dude's like, what could possibly go wrong? Nothing. And he's like, selling these robots. And then we see like the fucking Death Star command center that controls these fucking things. Like, why wouldn't you just have a couple, like the dudes that are controlling them just be security guards and just like, do normal security guard shit?
Dude, that's the thing is okay. I had no idea. I've heard of this movie before, just in mostly name only and like kind of premise, but that's kind of in the name too. But I had no idea that it was based off of robots. And so when that kicked off, my interest really plummeted immediately. I was
really
bummed about that.
I can relate.
because it's dumb. It's even for the time, I feel like that's really
Well,
dumb. I don't
they
know.
were aiming at like paying homage to like 50s or Killbot horror things. And in fact, the movie's original name I think was Killbots.
It was, yeah.
So they changed it to Chopping Mall because I guess puns put butts in seats. I don't know, but it's a terribly misleading title and poster. The poster for this is pretty fucking badass. I'll stand by that.
Mm.
And
I like
it has
that.
nothing to do with what we
It's
see
like-
on this.
It's like
A
House,
corpse hand. Yeah.
just
corpse
not
hand,
ringing a
corpse
bell. It's
head in a
holding
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no corpse hands in this. There's none.
No. I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think they probably wanted people to think it was a slasher because those were popular back in the day. But I
I'm
think
sure.
like if you can sort of like get over the bait and switch, if you will, I think the robots are like pretty solid. Like they roll around, like they look sturdy as fuck. They've got, I don't know why they would have fucking lasers like in a mall setting, but I think they look pretty well for like a low budget ass movie.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Oh wow.
So, no, like here's the thing. You're partially right in that like after I like on the second viewing, I knew what I was in for. And once you settle into the fact that this is a silly robot like attack movie and you know kind of what you're in for, the bait and switch of it all, the sting hurts less. I guess it doesn't really bother me anymore. So there's that. But also as far as like sturdiness, like they're okay props for a low budget production, I guess, but like they don't look great. And half the time their eye lights don't work, and it's pretty cheap. And some I'm sure will argue, and Rob, you might be one of them, that adds to the I don't know, the overall tone of the thing to make it feel like sillier and more like ridiculous. I can understand that argument, but I did not feel that myself. Not the first few times I watched it. This time around, I was laughing a lot more for obvious reasons. And like the look of the robots was definitely part of that. Cause like we watch one of those motherfuckers ride an escalator. They definitely had to put a plywood platform on that escalator to get that fat ass up that stairs. Like that does not work. These things that have donks, let's be clear, they look like a cross between like Johnny 5 and Ed 209, and it's like, I don't know, it's not as intimidating as I it's not intimidating. It's just not intimidating.
No.
Yeah.
Even the way they kill people, you can see how it doesn't quite grab. It's like using one of those hand grabbers that you give to like elderly people with like grip issues.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Also-
it's not great.
Also, too, those like storm locks that like are on the mall. That's
Fucking
just trap.
Death
It's
Star.
like
Yeah.
what?
What is in this
And
mall
yeah,
that is
what
worth
are
that
they
level of protection?
protecting? Like, really, what are they protecting?
All the cool band tees at the Hot Topic and the
They have
vibrators,
jewels and
filters,
stuff,
it's
but
expensive gifts.
I'm pretty sure that the
No.
jewels are not worth the comparative millions spent on this
Yeah, on a
insane robot defense.
3 of
But, you know,
them. Also,
It's logic that this movie doesn't bother with, so whatever.
well, the thing is the I would say a benefit of the robots, or a benefit of switching it to these robots, especially 3 of them, is it's a fun premise to think about, especially when you're younger. Being in a mall at night when you're not supposed to, and using what's at your disposal in these different shops, and you could go around and get whatever you want to try to fight these things off and set some traps. And that started off pretty strong, honestly. When they go to the store and get all the guns, the hunting
Tekken
store or
dolls.
whatever, yeah, and that's cool. And then they even, hey, grab some propane or whatever, and then they rig up the elevator. I liked all that, and I was like, okay, that's a fun
They
premise.
make the
And
most of it.
yeah, I was like, I want to see him kind of set up some traps in the mall, use some crazy shit in some store and set these traps. And after the elevator, that really kind of dropped off. And
Well, yeah, they're in defense mode like crazy.
well, and then it was cool because they were going on the attack. Yeah, like we're gonna go to the elevator, we're gonna do this thing, they were setting it up. And then the second kill of the robot is that dude just ramming it with the slowest fucking cart thing.
It's the Austin
Dude,
It's like,
Powers.
That dude
what?
scooted
Yeah.
his little scooter right into the bad guy and just
It
blew
was
his ass
that
up.
convincing. Yeah, and then it exploded.
I was
Yeah, he
pissed.
scooted his ass. He just used a fucking rascal scooter to destroy the Killbot. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, in
Um,
the most terrible way, sure.
Yeah, because it's dumb. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I wish they had set more traps, or I wish they would have used the setting a little bit better like they started to. I felt like they could have done a lot better with that.
Dude, I tell you what, man, watching these fucking pasty white goons in their fucking
These
Fleets,
goobers.
goo
Oh
like
my
gear up
God.
with fucking shotties, or it's like the Danger Dockers cotillion here, man. These motherfuckers, they come out like strapped to the hilt in their goddamn khakis. It is fucking hilarious, and
The
I
way
kind
they
of wish they had
shoot.
saved that for later in the movie. I understand a lot, like what's fucked up is that is a logical thing to do. Is like, okay, there's these fucking killbots, they've killed our friend, let's go get weaponry. Like that's the obvious thing to do. But that's like the only obvious thing to do that these characters do. The rest of the time, they make terrible fucking decisions. And if you're just going to have characters who make terrible fucking decisions, jimmy that in such a way that you get the dangerous dockers at the end of the movie instead of like early in the movie. I would have rather seen like that, like, okay, getting them strapped. Oh, like, oh, wait, this is a sporting goods store. I wonder if they have a gun section. And then they go and fucking like after like, half of them have been picked off at that point, and it's like a last stand situation. Then you have an opportunity to really pull some fucking Kevin McAllister hijinks, as you're
Yeah.
describing, Justin.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that
feel like.
fucking-
Oh, go ahead.
that fucking Michael dude is murdering his gum the entire first half of this. Did that drive anybody else nuts?
Oh yeah,
Dude, the
absolutely.
smirks in this movie
Oh
are
my God.
insane. They did not hire a single person who did not have the most grotesque 80s smirk you have ever seen.
And like, I feel like every kill should have been that, from robot to person. Because another thing I liked, and it was not in the tone, but it worked, was when the first not the first girl, but when the girl has the gas can, or the can of gas, man, my mind is fucked tonight. But when she has the can of gas and it explodes on her or whatever, and then she catches on fire, that was a brutal kill, but also it kind of utilizes again the setting and that they're trying to fight back in this crazy kind of way. Every kill should have been like that. And like I said, they should have killed the robots in crazy ways like that too, like with the elevator. And they just abandoned that. And, at one point, one guy's kind of like thrown off the ledge in a mall. And like, that's kind of it. But it just feels like if you're going to be so goofy with these robots and stuff, you really got to ham it up and use the setting like to the max. And I just feel like they dropped the ball on that.
There's a couple things that I dig that they do, like the electrocution kills. I think they look like very cheesy, but I dig the look with like
I
the
like
fake
how cheesy
like
those
electricity running all over the people's bodies and stuff. I also, something that the robots did do that fucking cracked me up. It reminded me of like Jason Voorhees, where he just like is constantly blasting through windows. They drive through every piece of glass they can fucking find in this mall. It's just constantly like shattering glass. Like, I don't, for some reason that just fucking cracked me up. There's so much glass all over the floor in this mall.
Dude, they're here to protect the mall, obviously. So
That's
Clearly.
yeah.
Do what you
I
gotta
love
do.
that their protocol just allows them to destroy
Also,
everything in person.
fucking-
Yeah.
poor Dick Miller, like he's the janitor who gets electrocuted. He's in a fuck ton of
Yeah, oh
stuff.
yeah.
So he like the way this whole thing kicks off is like he just gets completely fucked by these robots in every way. Like they knock over his fucking shit. He's already catching hell from the other janitors. He's the low man on the janitor totem pole. Poor son of a bitch. And like
Fucking- the janitors that are shitting on him are walking by just slamming Miller High Lifes.
oh, must be real tough. Gonna make record time. Don't want to get locked in again, eh, Dick?
I
Or
think-
whatever his name is in this movie.
I think he's mopping up all the fucking ice cream that kid spilled,
I
because it
think
looks
so,
like
yeah.
chocolate ice cream. Fucking
It definitely
little-
looks like
little
creamy
stain.
shit. But
Creamy
and then like the
shit.
thing comes over and you're supposed to be able to like scan your ID or whatever. And so he shows the thing his ID and it just does not register it because it's obviously not a robot. It's like I don't know. I don't know. It like the amount of they don't really do any explaining as to why the killbots become killbots instead of just robots who
Struck
like,
by
knock you out
lightning.
with.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just
were
like
they
Death
struck by
Spa.
lightning?
They
Yeah.
were, yeah.
I guess I didn't catch that. I was probably smoking.
The
So-
building, the mall was struck by lightning.
I'm gonna
So,
think
you
about it
know.
again. I don't know, man. Yeah, the building was struck by lightning, and therefore the entirety of the killbots, who are autonomous, are now running it rampant and killing people. I don't know, man. It's a little loose, which is to be expected, really. It just
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not looking for a lot of logic in this film. So stuff like that, sure. You know, struck by lightning,
kind of
they
let
go
it wash over you.
crazy. The fact that they exist at all and that there's blast doors on the mall, sure. You know, that's fine. I'll kind of
The one in
critique
the
it.
middle has an unpleasantly ethnic quality.
Oh, Paul, come on.
Okay. That is fine, you know, to critique in a very loose kind of sense, but not really. But I just, if you're gonna go for these kinds of tones, if you're gonna take this setting, if you're gonna take this like robot approach where there's multiple ones to just kind of dispose of, not a killer that's stalking you through the mall, then I feel like you really got to ham it up. You really got to use this setting. And they kind of did. And that's what's disappointing is I feel like it was on their radar of what is fun about this film, you know, like, yeah, load them all up with a bunch of guns. Here's cans of gas and stuff like that. Like that last kill where it's just slipping on paint, that was weak as shit. That was so weak. To go into a paint store, who wants to see the last robot go into a paint store and slip on some paint? That's bad.
The slipping on paint is the problem. I think that like explode, like they're explosive paints, and I'm like, okay, as a plan, fine.
That
But like,
store
but the fact that it can't get out,
explodes.
yeah, and the fact that it can't get out because it's fucking like what do they think tanks do? It's fucking treads. Do they think
Dude.
that a simple bucket of fucking Sherwin-Williams is gonna put a kibosh on fucking tanks? What are
Did
we
you
doing?
guys take note of how Allison, like, she can't get into the paint booth area, but of course it's glass, so she just like takes her sweater and puts it over her head,
Dude.
and basically fucking headbutts
Yeah,
it, and
it's
it
just
shatters.
headbutts.
That was the most awkward scene. I was like, what is she
Dude, I kind of
doing?
respected that. I mean, I
Really?
respected it.
Hilarious.
It was like, I don't know, as a like, this is not a character driven thing,
No.
and I was not particularly ingratiated to any of the characters, but I did like that. Like, I don't know, I like how they handled her, like being the dead aim or whatever, and sort of they set her up okay to be a survivor girl. It's not the best execution in the world, but I kind of liked like her like kind of doing whatever she had to get the next rung or whatever. The thing that sucks is like apply that logic to your friend refusing to stay in a goddamn vent that has you safe. Also, they could have gone back to that fucking vent anytime. They could have climbed,
Anytime.
and they just chose not to.
Did that grind your gears, Juice, watching them hide in the air ducts?
Not particularly, except what Randy just said, is that like
Yeah.
they make all the smart choices first, and
Right.
then they just
then they just
forget that they're
Fall
smart.
apart.
Yeah. Which doesn't make any sense. You're right.
And then they
because
just sort of like
especially with
hang
this-
out.
Yeah, with the
ahead,
storm
I'm sorry.
doors closing. Well, yeah, why wouldn't you go back to the vents immediately? I did like, again, it starts off strong with some kind of logics of where they're like, they know we're in the vents, and so they turn it up, and so it's really hot. So if they made some explanation about like
Sure.
it's too
But they
fucking
did-
hot, but they don't.
But they made it a clear decision by somebody freaking out, not because of the heat. The heat is just like contributing to her
Yeah.
freaking out. It's not actually like dangerous to them in a way that they can't continue crawling to the
Mhm.
aforementioned parking structure that they can escape through.
Yeah.
Like, and if you do that, they're like, oh, I gotta go save Rick or whoever, and they like save Rick by getting your ass out of there and calling somebody. Like,
Also, too, it kind of makes the characters a little weaker because at the time, the dudes were kicking ass. They were tearing it up. And then as soon as the women show up, it's like, we're all incompetent fools who have to save you and you're a liability
Crampton
and
gets-
shit.
Well, I will say, like, the Allison character, actually there's two of the female characters are pretty helpful in different ways. Allison's the only one that can shoot a gun. She's like
Yeah.
a crack shot apparently. And then this has nothing to do with the movie at all. It's just sort of like a way to introduce a couple of characters. But I think Linda and then her husband, they're like mechanics, and he can't fix the truck at the beginning, but she can. But that doesn't like mean anything other than just, I guess,
Yeah.
illustrate that she is a capable
She's
person,
not
or
like
more
other
capable than
girls.
he is. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. And then
They
I
could have
don't
used that.
they could
as,
have,
like-
but they really didn't.
They didn't. Like, have her look over one of the like after they destroy one, have her look over it and just figure some out key information out
Yeah.
or something.
Take control of
Anything,
it or
really.
something. Yeah.
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 And you
I
could
don't know.
battle the killbots.
Maybe she can figure out how to control the laser from just carrying the
Yeah.
head around, or I don't know. Like-
Laser.
Why not? And I think Justin's right about like the setting. Like, it's like they really the only thing they could think to do after a while to maximize the use of a mall setting was to crash through windows. And it's like there's got to be something else you can do here. Dawn of the Dead did so much with their spot, and like as much as that's not my favorite zombie movie or anything as it is for other people, they do make good use of the space, and I don't think this one truly does after a while. And yeah, I don't know.
Even
I don't know,
even that, I was thinking of that
it's-
one kill too. That one guy just he just slings the fire extinguisher at his ass.
He does.
Just smashes his ass on the.
It's
fire.
like watching fucking Sean and Ed like throw fucking a empty crate at a zombie. It's
Yeah.
like,
It just could
how
happen.
hilariously worthless that was.
Well, it could have happened anywhere. You don't need to be in a shopping mall to get blasted with a fire extinguisher. You know,
That shit was funny though.
it was
cracked
funny.
me up.
It was funny. I was like laughing thinking about it. That's why I've been laughing. It's thinking about that dude getting
But
smacked with the
one-
extinguisher.
One could say the robot yeeted the fire extinguisher.
That would be a proper use, Bob. Yes, you
All
finally understand the
Wow.
word.
Yeah,
Wow.
nailing it.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Um,
enjoy the score, the music in this?
It's dated like
partially.
everything else. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I liked it, but I think they wrote it a little hard at the beginning, maybe to where like I was just kind of not engaged with it when Showtime really happened,
Showtime.
yeah, it just adds that extra datedness onto it.
And then
Yeah.
It's also samey. It reminds me of that SpongeBob joke where like SpongeBob thinks Mr. Krabs is a robot and he loves this song on the radio that just goes like beep boop bop boop beep, and he's just like singing this. I don't know. If you know, you know. It's dumb.
I don't
It's
know.
just like this.
I liked
silly
it. I thought it fit the movie itself almost like feels like a video game with these little robots rolling around. You gotta like figure out how to outsmart them. And the music itself feels like it came out of a video game. I think it's very like appropriate for the movie. It is like of the time and it's like cheesy and outdated, but I think it's very charming. And I also think it just fits the movie itself very well. I was into it personally.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that it does suit the kind of like movie that it is. Also, though, you said about the video games, I had that thought while I was watching this. I was like, they've got this like, they've got Dead by Dawn or Dead by Daylight or whatever. They've got Friday the 13th, the game, and they've got that new fucking Killer Clowns movie coming out. I could
Yeah.
see this being a fucking great team multiplayer like that.
Well,
Where
they
you're-
have a game of where you're in the mall, but it's zombies.
No,
And
I
that's
know,
more
but like
fun,
this, like,
yeah.
but you like the way that those games are structured is you can play as the killbots or you can play as the zombies and the people.
I see
And
what
so
you're
you go
saying.
like three killbots versus 8 players.
I
or
gotcha.
whatever.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be
yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah. Now this was a level, at least one level, maybe more than one on that game. Me and Bob were playing was it Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
Yeah.
There was a chopping mall level, which at the time I didn't really get, but now it like makes more sense to me. So that's kind of cool. For that
Yeah.
game, really.
Did you guys see this as a morality tale at all?
What's morality?
um
Up for interpretation, that's for sure. Fuck you.
Not really. Now, this is one thing that I kind of wished. I mean, I know this isn't where you wanted the conversation to go, but another thing too is I wish they could have had a couple more people throughout the mall, like the janitor, just a couple other people. But as far as these kids, like, oh, they're partying, they're drinking at this furniture store, which is ridiculous. And then they get blasted, and the only people who survive are the ones who weren't banging. Then I mean, they weren't riding that super hard.
I mean, those were some horny ass teens. Let's be
Yeah.
clear. There was no question about that.
Hedonistic ass teenagers for sure. They were slamming PBRs and they had snacks laying all over the bed that they were fucking on. And they
They're
were
group
smoking
fucking in a
cigarettes
fucking
Yeah,
This is a furniture store.
Yeah.
it was a little.
You can hear their friend
bizarre.
coming 3 feet away from you. It's a little weird.
And one of the couples is married. It's like, just go
Right.
home.
Yeah,
I can
and
understand the teens, teens,
Yeah.
and there's nowhere else
They need a place to
And
go,
so,
yeah.
you work at a furniture store. Oh, yeah, let's use this place. It's actually got
Let's have
beds.
a party.
Like, that makes sense. But what a married couple is going to go to a furniture store to have this group sex session at a furniture store?
but not
That doesn't
cut-
make
There's
but-
people
but
out
they're
there,
not
man.
intermingling. Like I could
sir.
understand also if it was like some sort of orgy situation. At least that makes a kind of sense.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's-
I mean, I see that every Saturday.
We all
Every
see that.
single day.
I don't know. Like, there's no. What is the benefit to like jizzing within a nearby proximity of your friends in a store? Like, what is
Oh,
what
Rand,
is
So
the
you,
appeal?
so you can high five after.
No
Hey, boy.
kink shaving.
We're gonna get that.
Why is your hand so sticky? Don't worry about it.
Oh, Bob.
Well, I just jizzed. Oh yeah, I heard that.
Don't
All over
worry
my
about it.
hand.
Up top.
I just caught it all in my hand.
Top.
I don't know, man. It's a very strange. Like they just do a poor job justifying things that are very easily like explained. If you want to, if you
Yeah.
cared to try, they could have explained that shit. And this is the kind of movie where I don't think they're trying to leave things intentionally ambiguous. I think they just dropped the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
I don't fully
There were some
understand.
Yabos. Whoa.
There's Yabos out the ass in this. But yeah, the mechanics, the two people, I think they're coming to like pick up Susie or they're Susie's friend. I don't know. They mentioned Susie, but like I don't know why they would like hang out at the mall. That is bizarre to me. Like,
She
why-
brought lingerie for the
Yeah,
party.
She came for that.
That's I forgot
I've been
about
stroking.
that. I forgot
Oh.
about that.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
I mean, that
That-
sounds like a party to me, brother. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was.
Because of the implication.
It literally was a party.
Oh boy.
Catch you fuckers at a bad time.
Just fill that dead air.
I mean,
That's what we do.
it's a bit of a commentary on the hubris of man as well. You know, the guy.
It is a bit, it's really a look at the existential crisis that occurs in us as we mature from adolescence into adulthood, really, is how
Well,
I
mean,
look
you
at
could
it.
you could look at it that way.
Yeah,
You
that's
could.
how I look at it.
I'm all right. Please explain it fully.
I
I'd love to-
just did.
Oh, okay. Well,
The
I'd like-
robots represent the indestructible industry of corporations
Uh-huh.
that
Mm.
prey on the youth
Uh-huh.
for their own benefits, you see. And
I
of course,
agree.
it takes place in the mall where you're just absolutely surrounded by
Mindless
the corporate
consumerism.
greed and mindless consumerism.
Mhm.
And these robots, they can only be destroyed through the power of youth and love.
Revolt. These kids are just
It was
cogs in
pretty
the
good. It was
corporate
all right. It
machine.
wasn't great, but it was fine.
These kids are all working at the fucking pizzeria or the Belk, and they don't even realize what they're really contributing
The
to. But
Belk.
what else are they gonna do? Where else are they gonna work?
They used to be bells back in the day. Hell's
Don't
bells.
they're banging in the Belks or the Dillards. They're dicking down in the Dillards. Whatever.
The Dillards
Let's go dig on
dicking.
down to the Dillards.
The annual Dillards
Dillard's
dick
dicking.
down.
Yeah.
Of
This is a,
1986.
The annual Dillard's Dick Down. Come on down to the
down,
annual
Dillard's
Dillard's Dick Down.
We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger.
What?
Bob broke.
Well, yeah, we're just we're all so tired.
Luckily, this is a simple movie to talk about because
Well,
it's very,
that-
very
Oh,
stupid.
no, it's
That
not.
is the
That's
thing.
what
While I
they-
was watching that, I was like, I wish I was watching this with the boys with some brews, because
Yeah.
then at least it's silly in that kind of way where when you're watching it with the group, then it's fun because it's so stupid and it does lend itself to that way. So even discussing it can be silly and fun. So
Yeah.
How
no, I
dare we
agree.
have fun? That's not allowed.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, that's what I like. I think that like watching this for the first time with like not sober was a great move. And like maybe I should have worked that into my more into my recommendation, but like it really does like either being inebriated in some way or hanging out with buddies or both. It's gonna improve this movie because it's very silly. It's very easy to like pop your mind in and out of because there's really like the more you think about this movie, the less good it becomes. You just kind of like have to let it happen to you in a way. Like you don't want to think too hard about it, or else it's like a puppet show. If you start dissecting it, it's gonna just be a puppet show at the end of the day, you know?
yeah. I appreciate that they kept it so short. That was nice. A
Oh,
nice
yeah.
touch.
It was a very tight movie. Yeah.
It's like, what
This
was
was
it?
less than an
Bob?
hour and
Like
a half.
77 minutes or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Pretty
like, and you
precisely.
can feel the padding too in a couple places. So it's not like
Yeah.
this could have been just an like if this had been written and produced years later, it might have been a Tales from the Crypt episode instead, and that would have been
Mhm.
fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't believe jokes aside, I don't think there's any real pathos to this movie. I think they were
No.
No,
just
for
trying
sure.
to, throw something together, and they did, and they made like, I don't know, an homage to worse movies. And
Well, I mean,
it
this
is
was
what it
made
is.
produced by Roger Corman. Like, Roger Corman's like brand is very much like the extremely cheap, affordable
Yeah.
B movie romp, and like that's what this is for sure.
Yeah.
Like
With his
I'm-
Yabos, you know how much he likes those Yabos.
he's got
That's
a
a cheap
formula.
win for old Corman.
Yeah.
He's got a formula that he sticks to, and I've
I'll
got.
be
I'll
stroking.
save this for trivia, but I've got some wonderful trivia about the director that I can't wait to share with you boys.
I thought you were gonna say about the Yabos. I don't know why.
Got some wonderful tribute on these
Yabo
Yabos.
Fest with your boy Bob. Woo!
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we rate Chopping Mall? I know there's like layers that we could dissect and really deep dive and analyze, but
Yeah, I don't want to have a lot to add, but I would just like say, this movie, it has its diehard fans, and they like, I understand that. Like, it's again sort of that thing where it's like, I just don't want to like, I feel like even having this conversation sort of takes away some of the fun of it, because it really is just sort of like you experience it. It's disposable fun. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
if your mileage may vary. For me, it varied depending on my mental state and whether or not I have buddies in the room. But it's its audience knows, I think, how to engage with it best, and what it was intended to be was somewhat disposable. And the fact that it has this long-lasting legacy, it's just very interesting in that way. I think this movie has like a bigger reputation than most movies comparable to it from that era. I don't know. Having seen, like, I think this is like one of the B movies that sort of rise to people's awareness very quickly when you start digging into horror and B movies, especially 80s horror. So I think it's deserving of that. It's the time capsule element, the silliness, it very much encapsulates that feeling. So I just like that about it, I guess.
Well, it's weird. It is like going off of that. It's kind of weird that this is the one that even even though I never seen it, I've heard it, that kind of stuck around, that this stuck out to people and has lasted in some kind of way. And I have to sit back and think, kind of like, well, why? Why this one? There's got to be a
it's just
ton like it out there, very similar. But like, what is it about Chopping Mall that really stands out to people? I don't know.
I don't know, but if I had to guess, my feeling towards it is that it's just very emblematic of that style and time period of horror movies. I think it just sort of is the poster child. And so like it hits all these things where it's like it's cheaply made. You've got a not scary monster. You've got cheap effects. You've got Dick Miller. You've got one location. You've got horny teens, one of which is definitely like a 25-year-old Playboy playmate. I don't know. It just there's things about it that just feel very, very much like in line with what you expect from this time. I think it's just really it's like a mascot for that era.
Yeah, it's like a great poster child for like the light, cheesy, fun 80s B movie. It's like it kind of just checks all those boxes, and like it's not a thinker for sure, but it is. It would be a crowd pleaser at like a midnight movie. Like, you know, like if in a full theater, everybody's drinking beer at midnight, this, you know, Chopping Mall rolls on, like it's gonna be a good fucking time.
Like
It's
any smarter writing, it would be more forgettable because it would be more like it'd be easier to get hung up on stuff, I feel like. And if it was any dumber or worse made, it would be just not watchable. Like,
yeah,
I think it hits that perfect sweet spot, and it's just like right in that pinnacle of so bad it's good for that era.
Yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, let's go ahead and
That's
rate
the
this thing.
justification.
Out of 5, Juice, why don't you kick us off? What do you think about Chopping Mall?
Yeah, I'm not real crazy about this film, but you know, if I had to watch it again, as long as I could watch it with some friends, or at least I would, yeah, like Randy, I would, you know, not be sober. I could watch it again. They keep it tight. I appreciate that. It's short. There's some fun moments in here. You know, like I said, they kind of started off solid when they're fighting the robots, and they, you know, load up on the guns, and you know, that chick, she gets like caught on fire, and it's really fucked up. So there's like some decent kills. There's some comedic moments that work. They sometimes use the setting well. So it's definitely not a complete wash. And I can see some of the appeal because they do have comedic beats in here that work, and it is an interesting kind of little time capsule. You just really kind of got to be in that mood for sure, but if you are, it can work, and I see that. But you know, it's very cheap. The characters are nothing. The acting, you know, is pretty bad. The little robots aren't great, and then they just kind of like peter out a little bit, you know, the slipping on the paint, the just ramming it with that shitty little cart thing was so stupid. But also, you know, gives me a little bit of a chuckle. So I think overall I would give this like a 1.5, and then I'll give it a half star for the Yabos, of course, and that is going to take it to 2 stars for me.
2 stars from Soju. All right. I'll slide in here real quick.
Oh, Bob, out of 5. There's no dong for you to rate in this one. So where are you going to put a Chopping Mall?
That's minus half a star there. A couple little things we didn't mention. There's like a brief shot, like as the mall is going on lockdown, you see a silhouette of one of the robots, and he's like closing his little claw hand before the door slam shut. I don't know. I thought
love that shot.
A funny little moment there. I also, man, in the 80s, I guess malls were just like fully carpeted. Like the amount of carpet in this mall, I feel is like a bold fucking choice. Kind of gross. I don't know. It stood out to me.
Dude, we worked in a movie theater.
Dude,
That was,
yeah.
And it was gross.
Same principle.
It was
less cleaning because nobody will ever see the insane shit that is spilled on there every day.
At least it was a dark carpet. That's smart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna do it. The
And
robot
stinky.
yeeting that fire extinguisher got me really good. The sort of like quick cut random like opening of this movie with the little like, I don't know, quirky moments, I thought was a really nice way to set the tone of the movie. I thought that worked well. I really dug the score. I thought that worked well for the movie. Allison breaking the glass with her face was ridiculous. The robots just constantly ramming through glass was cracking me up. And she like tries to hide out in a little like pet shop, and the robot rolls through like several like terrariums, just smashing all the fucking glass I could see. And then it lets out like these snakes and spiders, and of course they go immediately to her fucking face for some reason.
Yeah.
Like that whole segment I thought was pretty funny. The characters are basically non-existent, but at the beginning they do have some like playful dialogue where they go back and forth that I got a couple chuckles from. The kills are decent. There's like a throat cutting. There's like some stabbing with the little like robot claw like through the neck. The lasers are goofy. The electrocutions are probably the best. And then that one fire stunt, your girl Barbara Crampton catches fire. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's just overall a very like fun ass 80s movie. Could it be better? Sure, but I dig it for what it is. I'm gonna come in with a 3.5 on Chopping Mall.
Bob.
Interesting.
Randu, what do you think?
Well, I'm definitely in between those two scores. So yeah, like I said, after seeing this a few times, I'm endeared to this movie more than I actually end up liking this movie most times that I've seen it. This time, I had a better time watching it. I enjoyed myself more because I guess it just like taking the edge off really works for this movie, because the more you apply critical thought to this at all, the more you're actually thinking about what you're watching, the less or like the nuts and bolts of what's happening, like it just kind of doesn't work. And it doesn't no favors. Just us having this conversation kind of does the movie no favors. I don't have like I do see a lot of value in it though, as sort of like a disposable frivolity that was never meant to make it to this point, but because it's just so emblematic of that kind of frivolity that it's somehow survived as this sort of like flashpoint of the B movie genre. I think that it's got a lot going for it within that sort of thing. I'm just not always down for that. It is a specific mood you have to be in. I think that, like Rob, all the things Rob said that he liked, I generally liked. I do think that some of the kills are brutal. The Barbara Crampton kill was pretty brutal, I thought. Like, that poor girl was just freaking out and then caught on fire, and her friends did nothing to help her, basically. And they did nothing to stop her from leaving the kind of hot air vents where they were safe. Like, there's just a lot of like dumb things that you can point to, but like, I did like the kill. I did like the Dick Miller interaction and that kill. I did like the Paul Bartel and Mary Warnos like bit at the beginning. I did love the very 80s cheese fest that was the title sequence. I do like the music, even though I think they were a little heavy-handed with it a lot of the time. I think it's appropriate for the thing. And ultimately, I even kind of like the design of the Killbots, even though they look nothing intimidating whatsoever. They look like something you'd buy at a Radio Shack for your kid for Christmas. Like, it's just kind of got peaks and valleys for me. I can see its value, and to some extent I enjoy it, but to others, like if I actually apply any critical thought, it just kind of falls apart for me. So with that in mind, I'm just going to give it a 2.5, middle of the road, right frame of mind only sort of movie for me. I respect it for where it lands in history, but ultimately it's a hit or miss for me.
With Randy's 2.5, it's going to put our aggregate at a 2.7. Let's jump into our rotten. Oh wait, no, we got an email from.
Good call, Bob.
Actually.
Good call.
Yeah.
Oh my god, firing all cylinders.
I do.
Nice. Let's this was Nate's pick again. Thanks for supporting us on the Patreon, Nate, and picking this week's flick. Let's see what Nate has to say.
All right. What up, nerds and children? Thanks for reviewing my pick, the 80s classic Chopping Mall. Looking forward to your review of this absolute gem. I really enjoy this movie, provided I can watch with friends and some drinks, MST3K style. It can be really fun. Starts off a bit slow, but once those killbots get rolling, all hell breaks loose and hijinks ensue. Much like Leslie, your head will explode with
Yeah.
ridiculousness. Yeah, we didn't talk about that kill.
That was a great kill too.
Yeah. Of these unnecessarily armed robots gone haywire protecting a mall. Why did they need that much firepower to protect a mall? It's the 80s. Don't ask dumb questions. Also, gotta love whenever clearly 30-plus-year-olds play teenagers. Some favorite bits. Rambo Graham. I got the keys as he breaks the glass of a sporting goods store that could double as a military armory. That's just America. And sticking his gun around the door and waving it around without looking. Special shout out to Killer NES boss level music during the opening credits, and heard throughout. 3.25 stars. Okay. Discussion question: who wins an 80s robot battle royale? Participants include, but not limited to, these: Protector Killbots, Number 5 Short Circuit, Polly's robot from Rocky 4. I've never seen any of these movies. I'm sorry. And then ED 209, Big Bad
Ed
Robot and
209.
RoboCop, R2D2. I don't know any of these
Okay.
things.
You're too young.
Thank you. I can't believe these 30-year-olds playing 20-year-olds. I would never. I'm too young for that. Thank you, and have a nice day, Nate. P.S. From last week when you said DDP his ass, so he gonna grab David Gordon Green and make him do yoga until he rehabs into a better filmmaker. That'll be funny.
If he's a yoga guy now.
Yeah, that'll be funny to like 6 people, but whatever. I laugh. Cheers and keep on chilling. Hashtag hard with soju. Ooh, we got another
Nope.
one. Joining the
Nope,
ranks.
he didn't say that.
All
He
right.
said, yeah, I'm very hard
Okay.
with Bob. That's what he said.
I'm very
I think
hard
he
and
just said I'm
Bob.
very hard.
Hashtag very
I'm
hard with Bob.
quite stiff.
I'm very
big-
hard with Bob. Bob's gonna
It's-
have the very in there.
Big bad RoboCop robot's got to win that, right? The battle
Yeah,
royale.
Ed 209. The only thing about that though is that, as seen in this movie, the killbots can ride escalators, but Ed 209 cannot handle stairs, baby. Can't
Dude,
do
what
it.
what about Deadly Friend? That bitch can blow your head up with the basketball.
That's right.
Dude.
Player 6 has entered the game or
I
whatever.
don't remember the robot from fucking Rocky 4 besides it serving egg
I
creams
can't
or some
believe,
shit. Like
I can't
that was
believe that
weird.
Rocky movie's got a robot in it.
Dude, it's the most bizarre thing. I once like woke up in the middle of the night sick in a hospital for I get my appendix out or something, and I just threw on a TV and I saw Rocky was playing. It had Sylvester Stallone, it had like the whole cast and a goddamn robot. And I was like, I must be tripping fucking balls. What is in this morphine?
Randy,
It was-
you see some wild shit when you're like
Yeah,
in the
when you were
hospital and
as a
it's just-
child. Yeah, you're talking about watching The Exorcist.
I was not a
as
child.
well.
This was like I was in college for this.
Oh, okay.
Both of those were college.
Okay, gotcha,
Same visit. as a
Some
matter of fact.
wild
Anyway,
shit.
gotcha.
but yeah, it's weird shit. And then what was the other one that he mentioned? Ed 209. The
R2 something.
no. That
Oh
doesn't
my
count.
god.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Number
There's one more.
5, Polly's
Oh,
robot.
Johnny 5.
It says
I haven't
number
watched those
5,
movies.
Short Circuit.
Yeah, from Short Circuit. That's Johnny
Oh,
5.
oh, okay.
I don't remember enough about those movies to really say so. He's the only one with sentience, so that's got to count for something.
Well, there you go. What about that robot in the movie Bob likes, where she's like a sexy lady that these teenage boys grope? What's that movie, Bob?
What are you talking about?
I think we're talking about Justin's Dreams now.
No, what's that 80s movie where the two teen kids build a robot, but it's
Weird
just a
Science?
You're
weird
talking about
science. Yeah.
That movie is problematic.
Just, yes, that is accurate. We're gonna build a woman. It's gonna be the best woman. We are teenagers.
Did they
This is
attach the
good.
nipples?
This is great.
Well,
Yeah, they screwed them right on.
they weren't magnets. It just slide off.
Oh my god, fucking Jason
Jason
X.
X.
Yeah. Fucking Uber Jason has entered the game. name, right? He's mostly
It
robot.
all comes back to Jason X.
now. Oh god.
We're not hosting
thanks,
an intergalactic kegger.
thanks for picking this week's flick, Nate. Even though these boys just don't appreciate fine art clearly, but
Yeah,
we appreciate it none the same.
that is the lesson here.
So let's actually get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about Chopping Mall.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and germs, this here is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the critics and user scores are for Chopping Mall on RottenTomatoes.com. Talking about the aggregate positive scores. We'll start with Soju today. Soju, what do you think Chopping Mall's critics gave? Oh, I'm sorry. There are only 10, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a nice round number. I'm sure one of you will get a dinghy if you're careful.
Well, then I'll go 50% then.
50, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, Soju's going with 50. Bob, how about you?
Which one
I'm
you
gonna
take?
I'll take 60.
60. Bob, you're a hopeful lad, but Soju's going to take this one dead on the money. 50.
Whoa! Ring it ding! Ah, that's it.
23 skidoo.
It reminds me of a time that has passed.
Hey, Bob.
A simpler time, yes.
Bob, that's a hell you piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
Give me that hell.
Wow, that's a
sauce
free
off.
OnlyFans
I
tip
know.
right there. Whoa.
I'm advertising over
You
here,
have
you
to-
know.
Normally, you have to pay a nice 50 spot for that
Gotta
kind of
tease
treatment.
everybody so they sign up.
Oh, you gotta tease them. Oh, yeah. Are you teased?
Yo.
Show grief your fucking tits.
Yep.
All right,
Piece of
let's move on to the audience score. There's over 5,000 audience scores recorded. I'm going to start with Bob this time. Here's your chance for retribution, Bob. 5,000 plus ratings, so significantly more. Where do you think those 500 plus ratings aggregate to?
Ah. Man, I feel like with that many, it's gonna go up a little bit, but here I am being hopeful again. I'll just take a 60. Give me a 60.
60, okay. Juice, how about you?
I still think that's gonna be too high. 53.
53. An interesting choice. Well, Soju, you're going to take this one this week. 39%.
Oh, whoa, much
39%.
lower. Oh, that's
I don't know what you
hell
guys-
yeah, sweet, Bob.
That's a 69 skidoo, you boy.
We're fine. That's a good
All right.
little bump.
That's a good little bump. All right, let's read some negative reviews because they're often funnier. There's not a ton because it's 10 reviews to cull from, but this one did make me laugh. Robot killers in a mall, like Dawn of the Dead, done by dorks.
Fucking dork.
I don't know why this is more dorky, but whatever. There's ample retro futurist quaintness into this film, as with most pre-internet B movies with technophobic bent. Okay, that's not funny, but it is accurate.
Oh, you're just a fucking dork, aren't you?
Zombies
Just a
are
fucking-
hardcore, brah.
Fucking
Zombies.
dork.
Zombies are
Oh,
real, so
yeah.
they're scary.
Lick my boot, dork.
Damn.
Oh, Bob, popping a Q-Chat over here.
Oh,
Slow
man.
down.
We're really giving people their money's worth this week. They're not going to have anything left for OnlyFans. Here's a negative review from a user. It's easy to forget what a bleak time it was for the horror genre in the 1980s, when virtually every horror movie was a
What?
low-budget schlock featuring good-looking teens murdered by mysterious strangers. To give credit to Chopping Mall, while it stuck with the teenager component, it at least removed the mass killer from the equation. to its detriment. It replaced the mass killer with murderous security. Oh my God, this is so much longer. I'm not doing anymore. This guy
Now-
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well,
No,
to
no.
be fair, like to go off that idea, I mean, it's ridiculous to paint with such a broad brush, but I did have a note that this is kind of one of those movies that made me think of, this is kind of why horror isn't as respected these days, because movies like this exist, because they existed for so long and it was so saturated in the 80s that these like goofy little pieces that are just like kind of so silly.
That's bullshit, man. Classics were made in the 80s too. People just
No.
didn't give a shit
I
about
know.
them.
I'm saying that like movies like this give horror the kind of reputation that it has.
Well,
I don't-
horror
I don't
movies
know if
are a
that's-
standard for B movies. Like they're standard B movies because young people like to go watch scary movies. They don't necessarily care about the quality. Certainly at this time, it was a
Yeah.
dependable paycheck. So yeah, there was a glut of bad ones that were released semi-wide, and that's what contributes. So yeah, this is part of that. I think that there are certainly standouts, and I would say that this one is in its sort of like perfect confluence of all of those components.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
There are like dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of poorly crafted movies in every genre, man. It's like not horror is not exclusive to,
I
like,
know.
a
I'm just
couple
saying,
of-
horror has
I
a
think horror
reputation.
takes more.
I mean, horror has a reputation within like general audiences who are into the horror genre that it can be like quite silly or cheap or things like that. And I think movies like this are what have given it that kind of reputation.
I think it has. I think you're not wrong, but I also think it has more to do with the shabby horror sequel than any of these movies.
Yeah.
Like shabby horror slasher sequels in particular, like just the insane glut of those is what
Yeah.
I think why I don't think that horror movies have been very welcome in film snob circles for a long time. And it's it's changing, but it's
Yeah.
still an uphill battle with some of the
And
shit.
I'm just kind of making an observation. Obviously, like that's not my opinion, but like to go off that comment and like just generally of audience, like general audiences that aren't steeped in the horror genre. I mean, it's not, we talk about it all the time, like, oh, no horror film is ever nominated, or none of these actors or actresses get nominated for any awards, and it's just got this kind of like silly reputation. It's like, I think it's because for a whole decade and a half, like, there were a lot of movies like this that kind of saturated the market, and it sticks out in like general audience's mind of like kind of this quality.
Maybe. I don't know how many people that aren't steeped in horror are going to even know what Shopping Mall is, but yeah, I think slashers is what most people think of, like, all the million Freddys and Jasons and Michael Myerses that are more often than not less than amazing. I think that's usually kind of what, to Randy's point, really, what Randy was saying. I think I would agree with that more, I think. But also, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if people are winning awards or not. I'm sure it's very frustrating for artists and actors and people when they know they're doing a great job and should be recognized and are not being recognized. But like to the average like film fan, like these movies are getting made and we can appreciate them all the same, whether they win anything or not. But
sure.
Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent.
That's what we do here.
Interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Killbots? Come on.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
That's
Do you
it
have
for
anything
Rotten
else to
Tomatoes,
read?
guys. We're
Okay.
all wrapped up on Rotten Maters.
Tight.
Thanks for playing.
I do have a pile of trivia, so let's get into it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, fellas. This movie was directed by Jim Wynorski, ya boy, who has directed a lot of other movies. Some of those gems I want to highlight real quick for you. You may have heard of a little movie called The Bear Wench Project. He directed that.
Of course.
As well as Bear Wench Project 2, Scared Topless, Bear Wench Project 3, Nymphs of Mystery Mountain, Bear Wench Project 4, The Final Chapter. Also, The Hills Have Thighs, The Devil Wears Nada, Cleavage Field, The Lusty Busty Babacue, The Da Vinci Coed, The House on Hooter Hill, The Breastford Wives, The Witches of Breastwick, Alabama Jones and the Busty Crusade, Invasion of the Hottie Snatchers, and Scream Queen Hot Tub Party.
It should be illegal to
Oh
read all
my
those so quickly
God.
in succession. It's too funny.
Classics.
Classic.
I
Classics.
respect that man so much just on the list of titles alone.
So
Love
much.
Love it.
The one that really blew me away was Cleavage Field, like Cloverfield. It's
Cloverfield.
terrible.
Oh,
That
wow,
is terrible.
Yeah, it's great. Like that's a man that's commitment to the bit, baby. He's really committed
Yeah.
to the bit.
Cleavage.
Cleavage Field.
I wouldn't
Wow.
have
Which
even
is a
made that
breast
connection,
wig.
honestly.
The Breastford
Breast
Wives. House on Hooter Hill. Good Lord. Class. That's class right there.
That is.
So this movie, Chopping Mall, was allowed to shoot at a real California mall, Sherman Oaks Galleria, as long as they did not damage any facilities and had removed any traces of their presence before the mall opened at 9 a.m., which is insane, the amount of glass they would have to clean up every single night. I can't imagine how they fucking
Dick
made
Miller
that
was
happen.
hard at work all shoot.
Yeah. The other janitors are just slamming high lifes. This movie was originally released in March 1986 under the name Killbots. It performed poorly, and the producers felt the movie's title turned off audiences who might think, based on the original movie poster, that it was a Transformers-like children's cartoon instead of a violent exploitation movie. After some time, the movie was re-released to theaters under the title Chopping Mall with over 15 minutes cut. Interesting.
Well, I wonder what was cut. That's fascinating. Do you
Yeah.
have any info on that?
That I don't have. I'm looking on this Blu-ray here at the bonus features. It doesn't look like it has any deleted scenes in it. It's got a few commentaries, and it's got just some like little vignettes, it looks like, of how the movie was made, some like interviews and shit like that. There is one that's just called The Lost Scene, but not like 15 minutes of cut shit, which is, I don't know. Anyway, Jim Wynorski says Roger Corman took him out to lunch before making the film. He bought a yellow pad, and after lunch, he said, "Here's what you got to do." And he gave me film school in an hour, is what he said. Everything I learned in film school didn't count, but what he said made a lot of sense, and I still have that yellow pad, and I live by it. Now I have it memorized, and he's just making porn, I guess. So I don't really know how that would translate much to what he's been doing, but.
You gotta throw in some Yavos. They don't teach you this in film school, but it's all
So he
about
just-
the
I'm
Yavos.
sure
He just went all Yavos, apparently.
Apparently.
It was just a conversation he had with Roger Corman about titties for like an hour. That's all it was.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure there's like making a movie is complicated business. I'm sure there was plenty to pass along.
Yeah. The movie Allison and Freddie are watching is Attack of the Crab Monsters from 1957. Of course, it was a Roger Corman film. Jim Wynorski admitted that Mary Warnov and Paul Bartel ad-libbed the bulk of their lines, which, I mean, you could kind of feel that, I think.
That definitely
in-
felt like Bartel business going on there.
In May 1985, a press release indicated that basketball star Hakeem Olajuwon was cast in a small role as a security guard, and that the film would star Linda Blair, which obviously that did not come to pass. There's also another blurb that went out in October 1985 in the Concord Pictures, which issued a press release stating that Major League Baseball player Brett Saberhagen would appear in the film. Saberhagen, maybe is how you say that.
Is this just like clever marketing tactics? Just saying like, oh yeah, we got your favorite baseball player on board. He's gonna be here.
Either that, or it was like hopeful, like they were courting him and like trying to get him on board, and then he just said fuck y'all. I don't know, but
I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson's gonna be in this one. Pretty sure.
my boy
Pretty
Brett
sure.
Saberhagen is gonna be that. What a fucking name. The last bit of trivia I have here is there's a band called Prayer Line that wrote a song called Chopping Mall about the movie Chopping Mall, and I
Nice.
recommend you check it out. It is pretty dope.
How bleepy and bloopy is it?
It's not at all. It's just like a
Oh,
rock band, really.
missed
All
out
right.
on bleeps and
I know.
bloops. All right.
No bleeps and no bloops. That's all the trivia I got. It's time to talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juice, what is a cooter? Why do we hunt them?
Well, Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look at attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, there was one clear-cut Cooter for me. His name was Mike. Do you agree?
You have to remind me which white boy that was. Was that Gum?
Chewing the gum,
Mr.
yeah.
Gum, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would put him to the top of the list on like shit-eating grin alone. like that dude does
Hey.
nothing but eat shit with his grin.
Smug arrogance out the
Yeah.
wazoo.
Okay. So there you go.
Through the
Smug
roof.
arrogance. Yeah. And the gum just takes it to the top too.
I put
Manipulation. Oh, mhm.
Manipulation. Is he manipulative?
Yeah. He's like
don't
really
know.
pushing that guy to have the fucking party in the furniture store when he doesn't really. When
Yeah.
he's like,
And
Yeah,
it is
that's
kind of
true.
like it's his uncle's place or something, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. I guess you
uh-huh.
could argue that.
Quit being
But
a
him
little
and the other
bitch.
guy are too. They all
Yeah,
are pretty
they
Yeah.
all are.
masculine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that works. I'll give. Yeah, for sure.
Looking attire,
and I want
Dockers,
to count
man.
the gum as part of the attire. Personally,
It's an
he's
affectation,
wearing
that's for
that
sure.
gum. Holy shit!
Damn.
That gum is wearing him. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Like he's the one that
Dockers.
yeah, I don't know that I feel like super strongly about
Fucking
anybody in this movie as being
Dockers.
a big ass cooter, because there's like sexual deviance. How do we want to handle that? Because to me, it's
Dude.
a little bit fucking weird to want to jizz in an adjacent bed to your friends, especially
First-
when they're not really part of it.
Well,
Just
Mr.
kind of a
thing
Prude
you're doing.
over there.
First, you get the Dockers, and then you get the girls, and he's doing that. He's got the equation dialed in.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is
We
weird.
could give it some sexual deviance. I think that's fine. Especially
I
because
think it's-
also too, like you're having sex in a store that's like that stuff
Yeah.
shit's supposed to be sold.
Or at
Well,
least
it-
like laid on. It's a mattress fucking
Yeah,
store.
like some
people are
child
going to
might come
test
in
that
there and lay
mattress
on
out.
I
it.
mean, they're laying on
Yeah.
it. They're testing it out.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
great.
that's not great.
But it's also like not the worst deviant offense by any means.
No, it's
But
not.
we'll
But
see.
I think it's good enough to. I think he's hits
To
enough
strike.
points to.
It's just
Well,
a
how does
public
that
sex
compare
party.
to?
It's fine.
How does that compare to not Ferdy but the third guy? Well, I'm sorry. There's two other guys. What the fuck?
There's
The
4
guy, the
guys
unmarried
total.
guy, the unmarried other guy who works there, who's dating Barbara Crampton. And is all upset when
Okay,
she
yeah.
dies.
I don't really. He doesn't stand out as much.
What's the?
No.
He doesn't, but I'm trying to figure out what the key difference is because they are essentially the same in so many ways.
Yeah.
No gum.
No gum. It's the gum that did it.
It is.
Here's a cooter tip for you: no gum. We
Yeah,
don't
I
like gum.
Guess
No,
they're
it's in-
pretty
go
much
straight to
the
cooter
same
court.
kind of character. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I just can't remember that guy. You
Yeah,
know?
he's kind of a non-entity, really.
I remember him.
Yeah.
He's very upset about Barbara Crampton
Yeah.
dying because she died horrifically. In fairness,
Yeah.
and they're sitting in that thing, and he's like, "Why did you get out of the vent?" And we're all like, "Yeah, why? And why are you not in there right now, getting out of there?" And he's just, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we just," and he's just like really upset and like whatever. And then they're like, "Well, hey, why don't we go try and turn off the machines?" "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Well, let's fucking do it." And he like gets like all amped up, and then immediately gets hurled off a fucking cliff.
No, he's the one who had the
His-
little
his-
scooter thing. And
No,
electrocuted
that was
to
the
death.
that was
married
the-
guy.
The mechanic.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad. You're
He
right.
got-
Yeah, he gets
like he's
hurled-
running ahead
yeah,
of
he
everybody,
does.
and he's like, "Come on, guys, the coast is clear." As the killbot just hurls him over the edge.
He
It's like,
yeeted
okay,
him
that was a real nice resurgence
the
for you,
edge.
my friend.
Oh,
way to count.
shit.
Going over.
Going
in.
going in.
Up.
Uh,
Going over.
So that's
Mike.
like 3. That's 3 already, right?
Yeah,
I think
Mike,
the whole
Mike
Dockers, the danger Dockers in this, I think they could all count.
Mike and his
Ferdy's the
name might
only
be
one.
Ferdy, Greg.
He's
No,
Ferdy
Greg.
Licious.
Greg.
Rick and Greg. No, Mike and Greg.
Greg
There's
seems-
Rick, Mike,
Yeah.
Ferdy, and Greg.
Oh my God.
Ferdy
The amalgam
survives.
of whiteness.
But
Rick is the mechanic.
Rick.
God damn. I just can't. They're
Mr.
all the same. They're all the
Mike.
same guy.
Mike gets it
Craig.
on based on gum alone. So
Yeah,
we
I'd
got
go
him.
Mike too. That's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike, the gum and the smirk, man. There's a lot of smirking, but his kind of take the cake.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'll
All
give
right,
it to him.
lock them up, boys. Lock them
we
up.
got him. We got him.
We got them.
Fucking Mike. All right, let's kick our feet up, let our hair down, talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Juice, what are you watching?
Dude, I had a long plane ride per usual, and they had like a shit ton of Batman movies on there for some reason. So I watched a bunch of Batman movies and doing a little research for the next Creature Comforts, which is going to be Batman Returns with my boy G Baby. A little tease there. But so yeah, I watched the OG Tim Burton Batman with the Joker. That's 1989, I believe. And that's the one that I have kind of like the least exposure to, honestly.
Really?
Well, because it came out, when I wouldn't be able to watch it. And
Sure.
so I don't know. Yeah, that's the one I have
'Cause
kind
you
of
were-
like the least
'cause you
amount. I wasn't
conceived
born.
yet.
Yeah,
You
sure.
were
You
a
weren't conceived
semen
yet, right?
Uh-huh.
in a testicle.
So, and honestly, even Batman Returns, like I remember the toys and stuff from it, but it wasn't until like later ones where I would like watching some Batman and the animated series and stuff like that. So yeah, the one in 1989 is probably like the one I've seen the least, honestly. So I watched that one, watched Batman Returns, watched The Batman from this year. That was on there too. I also watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which is also a movie we
Oh,
should
yeah.
cover because that movie is amazing.
Yep.
Well,
So
okay. I thought you were gonna call it horror, and I was like, oh my God, please, can we not start?
oh
with
well.
that?
No, yeah, it's got the devil in
I'll
it,
be happy to
so we
talk
should
about Oh
cover it.
Brother any day.
Yeah, that would be
got the devil in
fantastic.
it. Yeah.
That movie's so good. I also watched what else did I watch? There's one more movie on the plane. Oh, I watched Nope again. So I wanted to see that one before we got to our top 10 of the year, just to kind of confirm my opinions on it. And then since I got back, I've been watching the House of the Dragon or whatever, the Game of Thrones
I don't
show
think
that
you really
came
wanna call
out.
it The dragon.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good, I guess. It is good, but I don't know. It's like I keep thinking, and like those first couple seasons of Game of Thrones were like so good that I'm like, it wasn't that good. So it's a little underwhelming in that way, but it's solid. I'm like 5 episodes deep. I think I'm halfway through. So yeah, that's about all I've been watching. Robert, what you been watching, my guy?
I over the past week watched the entire season of this show called Drink Masters. It's on Netflix.
I watched some of that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
dig
thought
it.
of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't go for the sort of like baking or cooking challenge type reality shows. There's a whole glut of those. But they do a very similar type thing with the mixologists. Like these bartenders come on. There's like, I think they start with 10 or whatever, and they do like, an elimination every episode. And they get into some like really wild stuff that I had never heard of before. It's pretty impressive if you have any interest in mixology or cocktails. I dug it, and it also like with a lot of those shows, it seems like they try to like amp up the drama, and I fucking hate that bullshit. Most of that is not in this, which is nice.
Netflix has been doing that. That's why I like that Glass show so much.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago, because it was the same thing. It's just like, you guys make glass, go make some fucking glass.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Dude, that's
love
the
it.
good shit. Like
It is,
that's
yeah.
a newer trend, certainly, because like,
like
Becky
it.
watches a good amount of trash reality shows, and some of them are still that old like especially the dating ones. Like it feels like those are all
Sure,
sort of
the
like
dating
coalescing towards
ones.
the dating world reality shows, and they're like these like most of these craftsman type shows seem to be moving more and more towards the Great British Bake Off sort of thing, where it's like,
Yeah.
you guys are just good at what you do. Let's just see how you do shit.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
crack a joke or two along the way, and
I
that's
prefer
fine.
it. Yeah.
It's interesting shit. I recommend that though. I really enjoyed it. Drink Masters on Netflix. Also, season 2 of White Lotus just started last week on
Oh.
HBO. There's 2 episodes out now. I really enjoyed the first season quite a bit. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's about this resort. The first season, anyways, about this resort called White Lotus in Hawaii, and you follow a whole bunch of people that are going to it for a vacation. There's like families, there's single people, there's like older couples,
Single
younger couples,
peepers.
single peepers, and then you get to know like the staff, the hotel and stuff, and like just crazy wild drama ensues as their paths cross. And it's, I guess you just call it a drama, but it's very like, there's definitely some suspense and some comedy in there, and really great
Uncle
acting.
Rico's in it.
Uncle Rico's in it. The second season is very much the same premise, but it's about a resort in Italy called White Lotus, and there's just a whole new batch of people basically that are going on vacation, and wild shit happens. So far, I'm really digging that, but we're only 2 episodes in. Michael Imperioli's in it from The Sopranos. Good shit. Also, speaking of cocktails, I went to this weird event over the weekend. It was like a pirate themed like show / cocktail thing, and they had like this whole, there was like 5 or 6 actors, and they had like little stage set up, and they had this like backstory that they put together, and they had, they had lighting and stuff, and it was like, the low budget production for sure, but it was very comical and definitely like for adults. They were making like crass jokes about like boner pills and stuff, and they would, every half hour or so they'd make a new cocktail and like roll it out, and they'd have some like backstory about the drink, and there was a lot of like audience participation in it. They kept like calling people up to do crazy shit, and one of my buddies that I was with, Mike, was there, and they called him up to the front of the stage by saying he looked like Stone Cold Steve Asshole, which I thought was very funny.
Was he the one fighting with the dildos?
No, and I was gonna say the closing thing that they did was like this. They had this big sword fight, and like they had 2 people up on stage. They gave one of them like a big foam sword, and they blindfolded them both. And then the second guy, they blindfolded them and then gave him his quote sword, which was like a 3-foot double-ended rubber dildo. And he's just like swinging that thing all willy-nilly. I'd never seen anything quite like it before. So I don't know. It's a
Sounds like
weird,
a real wholesome program.
real weird thing.
Did you get a good
But,
whiff of it, Bob, before you headed it?
Oh yeah, you know me. I'm just smelling
yes, come with me.
all the fake dicks I can.
Keep that bump around.
It was an interesting night. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Yeah, Rainy, what about you?
I said so many things last week when we had no time, and now I have a little bit of time. I only watched a handful of things. Well, first I'll start with one that I missed last time. I forgot to write it down, but Ghost Watch, of course, I watched on Halloween night, and buddy, I love that fucking movie. I always forget about the involvement of glory holes in that movie. Always. And it always makes me laugh heavily when
The
when they
old
bring it up.
glory hole.
If you don't know what I'm
Get
talking
it
about,
every
look up
time.
Ghost Watch. It's fucking awesome.
Look
and it
up glory.
involves-
Type
it involves
into
glory
Google,
holes, but not how you
glory
think.
hole.
Yeah,
Haunted
Google
glory hole.
glory-
Type in
haunted
London's best glory holes.
haunted glory holes. Yes. And the Haunted Glory Hole tour.
Gonna
of
see some
Sussex, I hear,
spooky
is quite
shit.
great. Yes. Anyway,
Yes.
so there's that. I did go to a music festival in Halloween weekend called The Fest, which I have gone to many times before, but not for some time. And I had a really fabulous time. Rob came down and met me there for a night.
Yeah.
We watched the Menzingers. We got extremely lit, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I recommend it if you're into any level of punk or DIY punk at all. or rock music. Just look it up. It's fucking good shit.
Mm.
I watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and it was basically, you know how like I've gone on, like I was like, I kind of don't know if I like this movie, but I don't think it's made for me. This movie is explicitly made for me, tailored in a fucking lab to be enjoyed specifically by me. I'm convinced. It is like, I don't know. It's like, I'm a big Weird Al fan from way back. I think a whole fuck ton of people are, which is how this movie got made. And this is like a confluence of my love of Dewey Cox, which I still think is a funnier film, and my love of the man Weird Al, who I just like find to be maybe like I don't know, he might be like, he's Jesus Christ to me. He's great. He's the fucking best. So it was just like very much up my alley. I had a great time with it. Dan Radcliffe, like I've gone on record as saying I don't think he was a good actor in the Harry Potter films. He was a child then, and I've seen him in a few things since, and he's certainly gotten better, but he does a shockingly decent Al Yankovic impression, not just an American impression, but like he does a little bit of Weird Al flavor there. Like he really does kind of like get in there and do a decent job with it. I give him credit for that. And he's also pretty fucking funny. He's very funny in this movie. There's a lot of very great, like like sort of like Dewey Cox. They have like famous people playing other famous people, like Jack Black playing Wolfman Jack, and I don't know, Emo Phillips playing Salvador Dali for some reason. It's fucking ridiculous. And Conan O'Brien is Andy Warhol. It's great. It's a great fucking movie. I recommend it. I think it's like a little bit less funny on the tail end, but, and I still, like I said, still think the funnier biopic movie is Dewey Cox, Walk Hard, that is. It's a great fucking movie, but this one just hits my pleasure points. Anyway, moving on, my last one, The Rental from 2020. Did you guys ever watch that?
Yeah, we have a mini cast on it.
Okay, I thought we
was
might.
about
I
to
just
say
couldn't
no.
Well, the two of you watched?
Oh wait, no, what, a mini cast?
Yeah, I did a mini cast for it.
Oh,
yeah.
then you did it. Then
Oh,
I
you
don't
did.
think I've seen it. Okay.
I don't know what you said on that mini cast because I don't listen to any of our shit ever. But
Sweet.
I liked that movie a lot,
Nobody
and it would have
does.
easily been pretty up there on my list had I seen it year of. I was a little disappointed because I didn't know it was. I thought it was this year when it crossed my purview, but I love that fucking thing. It was pretty fucking great. The dude from The Bear is in it. Alison Brie is in it. Dan Stevens is in it, and then one other actress who I didn't recognize, but they all did fucking great.
Yeah.
It hits like it's that movie Superhost that came out a while back. Like it's the similar sort of premise where it's like about going to a sketchy-ish but very nice Airbnb and just the wildness that ensues. It's also like, it's kind of like, I don't want to give away a whole lot, but it's definitely horror, but it takes a while to feel like horror, I would say. So I recommend it. I think it's pretty good. It's a slower movie to start with, so be prepared for that if you go into it. And that's all I've really been watching. I'll cut myself off finally.
Cool. Boys,
Nice.
I wanted to ask y'all, how many glory holes have y'all been to before?
Just the one
This
with
week?
pipes in it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Oh boy.
The glory hole where pipes live.
His glory holes.
My boy Pipes.
My boy Pipes. He hangs out at the glory hole.
That little girl knows way too much about glory holes.
I think we all do. Let's move it on now.
Well, we got one more segment to get into, and that is, of course, our hotline screams.
Hotline scream.
If you are listening and would like to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got one voicemail this week from our old pal, Steve. Let's hear what Steve has to say.
Hey there, fellas. This is your old pal, Steve. It's been a long time since I've listened to an episode, even longer since I've called in. I don't know if you guys are still doing the my one claim to fame, the physical media phrase song. I'm sure that's long since been retired. I haven't finished this episode yet, so I'm sure it's gone. But just so you know who it is, that's me. I don't know how many Steves are out there. Anyway, God, it's been a long time. I just listened to the Halloween Ends episode. I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch it tonight. I can't wait to enjoy all 1 star of it. I'm sure it'll be thrilling. But I miss you guys. It's nice to listen again. I don't think I've listened in about, year and a half, 2 years maybe. Some lady rear-ended me. I ended up having back surgery. It sucks. I hate to complain because I know it could be worse, and there's a lot of people that go through way worse, but God, it's just been depressed and in pain, and work has suffered, and my girlfriend broke up with me. That's actually true. 7 years, and then she dumped me after my back surgery. So that was cool. So it's been a bit of a rough patch for old Stevie. Oh God, please don't call me that. I hate that. I don't know why I said that name. God damn it. Can I re-record that part? But I miss you guys. You guys made me laugh a lot. I'm glad that I forget who said it, but that business is handsome boys and business is good. You're probably listening to this. I forget that this wasn't the most recent episode you recorded, so you might not even remember that one of you guys made that joke, but it really made me laugh. So miss you guys. Glad that the podcast world is treating you well and you're having Halloween parties. Sounds awesome. You guys put on a great show, so you deserve whatever, good things that are coming to you. And that sounds like that's what's happening. So that's cool. I'm happy for you guys. All right. That was it. You're all very handsome. Talk to you later. Happy Halloween. Oh, I went to Salem for Halloween, Massachusetts. It's friggin' awesome. And then me and some new girl went ghost hunting. And luckily we didn't find anything because I would have shit my pants and ran out. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
That was a good call.
Whoa,
I'm not
Steve,
going to
yeah.
call our boy Stevie. That's not a good thing to call our boy Steve. I want to put that out there. You will be excommunicated.
Okay.
Wow. Stevie sounds like a handsome boy. So good for you, buddy. Getting back out there, going to fucking Salem. I want to go to Salem. That sounds
Dude, me
badass.
too. Yeah. I want to
Apparently
go.
it's great, but
If-
I don't know how. Yeah, go ahead.
If only the Straight Chillin' account would pay for our accommodations,
Is this the
If
solicitation portion of
only.
the evening?
Yeah. it is.
If only.
Speaking of, I have a quick question, Bob. Did you pre-order that Halloween Ends Blu-ray?
Where did Bob go wrong? Worrying his friends, sifting way too long through those Blu-ray bins. And it gets worse, he'll have no jet ski, wasting all his dough on those DVDs.
That was the greatest segment that this podcast has ever had.
I know. Why do we
Never
even
will top
keep
it.
doing it? I mean, without
I
that
don't
segment,
know.
it's bullshit. What are we
Yeah, I mean,
doing?
Rob just
You're
stole it for his own gains. That's what happened. Bob,
Ill
put
gotten
so
him-
selfish.
Bob put himself above this podcast, and
It's
took
all
it away.
Bob.
You should have
all
laid
the
down on the
time.
line. Should have taken the fire head on, Bob.
Yeah,
What's
Bob,
wrong
come
with you?
on.
Ooh. It is this month is the half off Criterion sale at Barnes Noble, and I'm just fucking losing my mind.
How many did
boy.
you buy, Bob?
Don't
How
you
many
wanna
have
know?
you bought?
Don't
I
you
do.
wanna know?
I do.
Oh, I
I
bet
want to
you wanna know.
judge you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I can handle that much red in the ledger personally. I think I'm good. But hey, Steve, thanks for that. That is still my favorite.
I love that
segment,
Randy
Bob, that
keeps
we
it
have.
on. Yeah, ready.
Yeah,
on the ready, just
on
in
the
case.
ready.
You never
Yeah.
know when Bob's gonna start bragging about all the money he's losing on bad deals with Blu-rays.
Mhm.
So
Only make
Well-
good deals, Randy. The best deals.
good deals.
All the girls
I
say
pay half
I'm
price on the most
pretty fly
overpriced
for a
DVDs in the
white guy.
world.
That's what they say about me.
I
That's what
paid
they
only
say.
$20 for this
Uh,
$40 Blu-ray.
Ladies, check out these blues, okay?
Ladies love blues. Thanks for calling, Steve, man. I hope you're doing all right. I hope your back's healing up well, man. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's a tough break.
man.
Take care of yourself though, for sure. And thanks for providing us with the greatest bump this show has ever had. We appreciate it. So yeah, that's the only voicemail we have this week. Again, if you're listening and want to call in to be featured on next week's show, you can do so at 904-638-3231. General Mangs, do you have any prompts you want to throw out for next week?
You got any hidden gems for the Thanksgiving horror you want to throw out there?
That's a good point. Yeah, I feel like there's there's certainly not as many Thanksgiving horrors.
Or
At least not
even
a lot that have come to my
sometimes
purview.
Yeah, even sometimes what's like a movie you love to watch that's maybe like secretly Thanksgiving that's not advertised as a Thanksgiving movie? Like I was watching the Batman and it was Halloween. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's Halloween during this film. Like just something like that, maybe even.
It's a Halloweener.
Yeah. But Thanksgiving, obviously.
What's your Thanksgiving go-tos? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is already a given, so hit me with
And
something
father-in-law.
fresh.
No, son-in-law.
There you go.
What?
That's the
wrong movie.
son-in-law. Dude, I'm so tired. so tired. Some grinding.
That's the least natural line read ever.
Gotta
recorded.
watch son-in-law.
I don't think I will ever again. I don't think so.
Randy,
One
that's
and
one of
done.
the greatest memories from my year last year. Me and you just
Well,
sitting back
and
watching
in memory it shall stay.
Yeah. What do you watch around Thanksgiving? Let us know. And why is it Blood Rage?
I'm gonna watch Pauly Shore's Pinocchio. For Thanksgiving this year.
Oh my
But
god.
Father, I wanna be a real
I
boy.
forgot about that.
That exists. That's a
Dude,
real
yeah,
thing.
it was like a big
Rob.
thing on the
Are
Slack
you
for
ready
a
to have your
while.
life enriched? Wait, no, not enriched. The opposite.
Oh, watch that trailer. Yeah, we were all like tearing that shit
The
apart.
trailer's worth watching.
Oh, like probably
It's
6 months ago.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
A long
the
time
movie.
ago, yeah.
I feel like it
Oh no,
probably
it's
is
been
now.
out. I
yeah.
think if it
At
yeah,
the time,
it's
the
on some
trailer
Blu-ray
had just
somewhere.
dropped, and we were
Is
like,
it-
"What is this?"
It's real. Is it like
Dude, it's real.
animated?
It's CG.
Or is
It's
it poly-
animated.
CG
Oh.
animated.
It's
Oh
Pauly Shore
my.
as Pinocchio, and the animation looks like garbage, and the Pauly Shore sounds like garbage.
He wheezes no juice, I assure you.
Is he the weasel still?
Dude,
No,
he is
it's very much
Pinocchio.
just reading in one take and then leaving to go to get a shot
But
somewhere.
father, I want to be a real boy.
I'm gonna do
I
some
wanna-
tracks on my
I want to be a
horse.
real weasel. Oh
Dude,
my
I
god.
kind of watch that shit.
Dude, it will
Let's
it will
review
leave a
that.
scar.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
You know,
Oh man,
I close the door to
Polly.
son-in-law, but I open a window to Pauly Shore's Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. There's been so many
Poor Polly.
Pinocchios this year.
I know. I'm excited to see the Del Toro one. Anyway,
Of
that's not
course.
important.
Yeah.
We're done here.
That's the show this week. We're gonna be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're gonna be talking about the winner of the November poll, which was Coraline from 2009.
Ooh, shit.
Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can send all of your questions, comments, and concerns, including those that you would like to be answered on episode 400 to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at str8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. If you want to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can do so. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Thank you. Have a nice day.